Defence League has held demonstrations up and down the UK. They've spawned opposition groups and counter-demos, in combination shutting down city centres. Their own leader never thought they'd last this long, but Saturday is likely to be the biggest EDL demo yet.
She said, they haven't arrested you on either of them, so they can't, like on a technicality. She said, you don't need to attend court, so don't go to court.
A sunbed shop in Luton. This is Stephen Lennon's business. I call him Tommy Robinson because that's what the rest of the EDL do, after a famous Luton football hooligan. He's had a call from his brief to tell him a charge of assaulting a policeman has been dropped.
Out of court, brilliant.
Better know what I was for.
Right, I've got off. Phone call.
Tommy updates the EDL's 69,000 followers on Facebook from his shop.
I think my mum would be happy.
28-year-old Tommy is Luton born and bred, the son of Irish immigrants. These days, though, for a walk into the town centre, he wears protection.
And you think a bulletproof vest is needed for Luton town centre?
It is needed for Luton town centre. It is needed. I've had my house attacked. I've had my business premises attacked. I've had Muslims jumping out cars with knives on me. It's no joke. I'm not against Mickey Mouse. I'm not against militant Islam. I mean, we're living here.
Not for the first time, Luton is under the spotlight for extremism. Unfortunate history links the town to the fertiliser bomb plot and 7/7 bombings, among others.
We're the people living in this town. We're the people living side by side. When we queue up in that bank there, we're queuing up next to radical, lunatic Muslims.
It was here in March 2009 that a small group of Muslims taunted a parade by the Royal Anglian Regiment. The EDL formed in reaction, claiming to be opposing radical Islam.
It's escalated across the country, gained momentum. It's now a phenomenon that's swept the country, and we're bringing it back. And we're showing how far we've come in 2 years. In between these 2 years, I hate to say I told you so, another Luton radicalised Muslim blowing himself up in Stockholm. This is the heart of militant Islam, this town. The root cause of the problem is the teachings of Islam.
That's how the message has changed, though, hasn't it? Since the start, it used to be, we're against radical Islam.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything. No, because I didn't know anything about the Quran when this first started. I didn't know what left wing or right wing was. I'd never turned a computer on. Do you know what I mean? I just knew that things were seriously wrong. When you take a 7th century book in its barbaric form, which they do, we'll have a problem. Because this isn't the 7th century. It's year 2011, Britain.
I had a briefing with NetCo about the EDL, the specialist police unit dedicated to dealing with groups like these. The constant demos are putting increasing pressure on police forces. An intelligence officer told me they never thought the EDL would still be in existence this long after formation. But exist they do, and they're not stopping. Tommy spends much of his time travelling up and down the country to meetings. From its origins in Luton, the group has garnered followers across the UK. It's split into divisions, the term being one of the many military references that are weaved through the EDL. Tonight, it's a brand new division, Chelmsley Wood, a suburb of Birmingham. When Newsnight first featured the EDL, the group meeting was an empty warehouse, suspect masks, and a symbolic gesture to counter Nazi accusations.
Relentlessly pursuing you in our quest to see all Sharia banished from our great democratic country. Long live the free.
Now, we're in a pub. There's a buffet and a disco to follow. There are women and children here, non-white members, and they gather to hear their leader speak, undeterred by the fact he's somewhat slurring his words.
on eggshells through fear of being called a racist. You want to call me a racist? Tatter it there. You want to call me a racist for protecting my youth, my Hindu youth, my Sikh youth, my Jewish youth, our youth, against Muslim paedophilic gangs that are raping them from one end of the country to the other. It's time for...
Despite the fact we've been allowed to film, not everyone is comfortable with the camera.
A lot of people are not the camera here. Most people heard about the English sentence in documentaries, through the media, through the only way to get our voice out there is that. They say multiculturalism has failed. It hasn't where I come from. We have integrated. There is no problem with West Indian youth. There is no problem with Sikh youth. The problem is with Islamic integration. Why is it being left to us, uneducated, working class lads of fucking council estates? Why is it being left to us to educate people? That's why it
This is a theme that Tommy returns to over and again, the sense that no one is representing the white working class. He argues that Muslim communities do have leaders that represent their views.
done. I represent them. And I'm a new member.
I'm sure now, because basically, I've heard the word, and I believe what is happening now in England eventually. When I've heard about it, I believe, like everybody else, skinheads, nutcases, football hooligans, wanted to cause trouble. Right? Now, I've joined it. I know for a fact.
Why are you in the EDL? For the sake of our children, do you want them growing up in an Islamic state? Are my children to stay with you? We've noticed the Muslim population growing and growing and turning against the white children, especially in the schools. We're down to integrate this much. EDL leaders ask members to sign a code of conduct encouraging good behaviour. They tell me they're trying to remove swearing from speeches, but the word packy is not acceptable at marches, even though it slips into Tommy's conversation.
Osama bin Laden, I am coming for you.
The spread of the EDL across the UK is undeniable, but the group have also set themselves international ambitions. They protested in New York, and in October I travelled to Amsterdam with the group. They planned a demo in support of Dutch anti-Islam MP Geert Wilders.
As you can see today, the English Defence League are here. We're not hooligans, we're normal people. We've come here today to have our voices heard.
The demo was moved out of the city at the last minute, so the EDL ended up on an industrial estate. There were more press and police than supporters. Local Ajax football fans took over the metro station, telling me they wanted the racists out of their city. The EDL's high-profile Sikh member Amit Singh was on hand to oppose those claims.
I mean, people call us racist. I mean, you have the lefties call us racist, Muslims call us racist. It's a useless excuse to keep using to try and get their own way. The English defence has never been about race. A Muslim could be a white man, a brown man, or a black man. This is about militant Islam, which is an ideology. The English defence motto is all colours, creeds, religions unite, brown, black, white unite to fight militant Islam. That's precisely what it is.
Amsterdam was basically a shambles, so I met up with 29 Amit again back home in Nottingham.
I've received these packages today.
He's admired somewhat as one of the brains of the EDL. He just got a delivery of quotes from the Quran from his researcher in Israel.
It's going to be everything that's war modelling about Islam and how jihad is the main goal for any Muslim.
You and your parents, your grandparents must have experienced racism, come to the country and experienced it. So